I think differences, ideological differences, political differences, that is good. You want to have a push and pull about things that are important.
You want that balance.
You really do. And
need
it requires both sides to tug in order to be able to find the best thing.
You have to have it inside yourself and within the group. When you go into one thing, whatever it is, you start to lose reality.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
But all that stuff burns you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll burn you out. It will. It'll burn you out.
Are you doing that?
But
You don't wake up and put on your jiu-jitsu shirt?
I burned out.
I stopped wearing jiu-jitsu shirts on purpose. I don't know. I went through a phase where I wore them a lot.
I know all the shirts I have.
I'm not saying that that's necessarily the thing. I'm just saying...
Let's talk more about shirts. I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's get this pod rolling.
I'm just kidding.
Let's do the pod. Let's get OTP. Okay.
OTP.
Welcome back to the Combat Based Podcast. We're here. We got the CEO, Melissa Haueter.
What's up? What's up, y'all?
What's up, y'all?
What's up, lovers?
How are you today?
How am I? I'm here.
Here?
I'm actually here.
Are you here and now, or are you just here?
I'm here.
Be Here Now.
I'm here and now, yeah. Right
By
now.
Ram Dass.
Okay.
Good book.
Okay. Well, all right, moving on. We got the OG,
Chris Haueter.
Chris Haueter, on deck.
I am here.
So sick.
Roll
right.
call.
T-Bone, the producer, right here. What's up, guys?
There's the producer.
Toe Woody.
What's going on? And I'm sorry to say, I'm going to try to stay positive and fun because we're getting weird today. This is going to be a little dark. This one.
I don't know if I can hang. We'll see. We'll find out.
To bail.
I might have to bail halfway.
Before we get dark and weird, why don't you just sign up for Patreon, please? And,
Or we're going to have to shut it down.
Yeah. We got Patreon going. Send in your emails, podcast@combatbase.com. Hit the hotline, 949-791-7763. And hit us up.
Leave us a comment or a question, and we will answer it.
That's right. It's so fun. It's like the best part of the show, I feel
I
like.
kind of love them, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'd like to do that more then, right?
Yeah.
We can't do it without you. We can't do it without you.
Leave a
Can't do it without you.
YouTube
you.
comment or question.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get
Yeah.
in there. All right. So today, we're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, dun dun.
It's super dark and gross.
It is super dark and gross.
But at least we have lots of dogs to comfort us.
Yeah. But it's important, right? I think.
So does Ghislaine Maxwell now. Go ahead.
But it's important, right? So we want to, just for the sake of that's what people are thinking about and what's going on,
Yes.
we want to throw some ideas out there. All right?
Yep.
But let's get on the same page.
Okay.
Here, all right? So let's
Read us the synopsis of his background.
Here's the
who
synopsis.
is this
I
guy?
queried our combat-based AI lab, and this is what it said. All right, let's check this out.
Jeffrey Edward Epstein was an American financier and child sex offender who victimized hundreds of teenage girls. Born and raised in New York City, Epstein began his professional career as a teacher at the Dalton School. After his dismissal from the school in 1976, he entered the banking and finance sector, working at Bear Stearns in various roles before starting his own firm. Epstein cultivated an elite social circle and procured many women and children whom he and his associates sexually abused. In 2005, police in Palm Beach, Florida, began investigating Epstein after a parent reported that he had sexually abused her 14-year-old daughter. Federal officials identified 36 girls, some as young as 14 years old, whom Epstein had allegedly sexually abused. Epstein pleaded guilty and was convicted in 2008 by a Florida state court of procuring a child for prostitution and of soliciting a prostitute. He was convicted of only these two crimes as part of a controversial plea deal, and served almost 13 months in custody but with extensive work release. Epstein was arrested again on July 6, 2019, on federal charges for the sex trafficking of minors in Florida and New York. He died in his jail cell on August 10, 2019. The medical examiner ruled that his death was a suicide by hanging. Epstein's lawyers have disputed the ruling, and there has been significant public skepticism about the true cause of his death, resulting in numerous conspiracy theories. In July 2025, the Federal Bureau of Investigation released CCTV footage supporting the conclusion that Epstein died by suicide in his jail cell. However, when the Department of Justice released the footage, approximately 2 minutes and 53 seconds of it was missing, and the video was found to have been modified despite the FBI's claim that it was raw. Since Epstein's death precluded the possibility of pursuing criminal charges against him, a judge dismissed all criminal charges on August 29, 2019. Epstein had a decades-long association with the British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, who recruited young girls for him, leading to her 2021 conviction on U.S. federal charges of sex trafficking and conspiracy. Jeffrey Edward Epstein was born on January. British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, who recruited young girls for him, leading to her 2021 conviction on U.S. federal charges of sex trafficking and conspiracy for helping him procure girls, including a 14-year-old, for child sexual abuse and prostitution. His friendship with public figures including Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, and Mette Marit, Crown Princess of Norway, has attracted significant controversy. Stephen Hoffenberg, who spent 18 years behind bars as byproduct of his association with Epstein, in 2020 characterized the man as a master manipulator.
So that's just the...
That's AI's synopsis of reading the internet and correlating a general story.
Psycho.
Now, I will just open up with, none of us are experts in the Epstein thing. There are entire podcasts of people for the last 5 years have devoted time trying to find out who Epstein was and what was happening. I do know that in 2005, the Florida prosecutor, why can't I remember his name right? Alex Acosta was in Trump's cabinet and had to resign because when the news came out, it looked too bad that Trump had hired this prosecutor who gave him a sweetheart deal. Should have, would have had 20 years minimum, but he had 6 months work release, this really easy thing. Now, the thing about Epstein is he was rich AF. And I used to say all the time, what the OJ trial proved is money buys justice. Yes, they used race as a tool, but really rich people get out of crime a lot. Poor people don't. And the other thing I've heard a lot, and I completely agree, in all the political smearing and all that stuff, everybody forgets about the girls. It should be about them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what's interesting here is why is this not a bigger deal than it is, even though it's kind of a big deal?
Yeah.
And then what type of response would you want from people that were involved or purported to be involved in order to make you feel like things are being managed responsibly and this is not something that's going to be repeated?
Well, that's the weird aspect is with Ghislaine Maxwell, who was his rich accomplice, she was the one who would recruit the girls. It's easier if a British girl recruits them, right?
Yeah.
All sad.
Oh my goodness. Maybe we can't talk about this.
No, it's
it's weird just because my family history has some of that. Geez, this honestly, this is the first time I've ever cried about this, ever.
Your family history has some of this?
Child abuse.
Oh, child abuse, yes. I don't know. I think you've cried about it before.
About Epstein, I've never cried.
Oh, about Epstein.
Yeah, it's the first time it actually...
Do you think that it's a bigger deal that a bunch of Catholic priests raped boys?
I think that's a huge deal,
Do you think that people take that more seriously than this? Because I can't help but think that the reason why it's not a big deal is because women are the victim and because women are supposed to be victims because we're supposed to stay in our place and we're supposed to get raped and abused and put down and men are the ones supposed to have the power. And that's like not what I think, but like what I think living in just being human. I feel like being human, it hasn't been that long since women's liberation, quote unquote, which does that really even do anything? Like, sure, women get to vote. Sure, women get to be firefighters once in a while. And then a bunch of people will talk shit about her because she can't drag the man and I don't want a woman to come save me as a firefighter or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it's just, I don't know. For some reason, I think a lot of times when like Chris will get upset about something where women are being a victim, and I'll be like, well, I'm one of them and I've been a victim. I've been a victim of misogyny. I've been a victim of men like roofing me, like stuff like that happens, right? I've been a victim of abuse. I dated a guy who basically killed women.
Who's in jail now for murder. Yeah.
And more than once, like repeatedly, one girl died in his apartment, and then young girls.
And for 3 years you went out with him?
Yeah.
4? Something like that.
Yeah, well, from 21 till like 23.
And
like
he
2 years.
got worse and worse, which is what?
Yeah, he got worse and worse. This is when I dated when he was 25. He got arrested for all this stuff when he was like 46. Yeah. So, he's a sicko. Yeah. And I dated a 25-year-old version of him, and he got sicker and sicker, obviously, and I got more well and more well. We were probably at the same point back, and he drugged me before.
Yeah.
He put drugs in my drink.
Right.
So
I think the core issue with all this stuff is it's a scenario where a person that has power and influence is looking at other people in the world as something to be used and a tool instead of respecting them as a human being, right? Yeah. That's the general issue. And so I think if the government and the people in play that have all the influence and have all the power are protecting and supporting these type of people that do this type of thing, it's a major issue for everybody.
Well, everybody likes prostitution. Yeah. I mean, guys like prostitutes.
Guys are turned on by prostitutes.
What's the difference if she's 17 or 18? On her 18th birthday, does that make it okay? Well, guess what? There's a lot of women out there who will say, well, I'm a sex worker and I'm a proud sex worker. And how dare you come at me like this is wrong?
That's a whole weird thing too.
It's a whole weird thing where they but then they're complaining about some guys abusing them. Right. Okay, well, you're signing up for it.
Yeah.
But Epstein's girls definitely aren't that. They were manipulated and recruited.
But a lot are.
A lot are.
A lot of
young girls.
Girls and boys.
Yes, a lot of young boys too.
It's kind of weird. I feel like I think about these situations and I wonder like how does it come to be, from both sides? Like, does a person like Epstein like sit there in an office and like calculate out like, oh, these people are idiots. I'm going to take advantage of them.
Epstein's power was he recorded everybody who he recruited. So there's video of his clients who are all rich, powerful men engaged in trafficking minors, and that power is what got the Israeli intel to recruit him. Then the Russians, because whatever the Israelis do, Russia comes in, and there's a whole reason about that, and people think it's being anti-Semitic, but it's not. And then the CIA came in pretty late on the whole lot, and then what do these guys do? Like, I think one of the guys said in the 2016 election, if the truth came out, we wouldn't have an election. Because it was Hillary Clinton, or her husband is involved, and Trump, who's like for 15 years was Epstein's best friend. Trump owned teenage beauty pageants. There's over 20 accusations. Some of them vanish or get paid off. And
we've already heard like a bunch about like how much of a misogynist he is. We already know that.
Yes.
And for some reason, Many women are just okay with that. I'm not okay with that. But many women are just okay with him grabbing people by their private parts or whatever.
Yeah. And it's as America has become more and more polarized, people will be loyal to their tribe and rationalize their tribe's bad stuff and crimes and fraud. And like me personally, like I have a lot of family and friends who love Trump. I find it baffling because these are good, honest, honorable people. But when you only consume their media, I can see how they're drawn in. In their mind, it's the Clintons who are these horrible things. Look at Bill Clinton on Epstein's
He's
Island.
horrible too.
He is horrible too. Yeah.
But he wasn't best friends with this teenage trafficker. He wasn't best friends.
No.
But he was friends, right?
Yes.
You're saying he was friends.
And a lot of the guests that went
Obama's not on that list.
No, he's not. W. Bush is not on the list.
W. Bush isn't on that list. There's some good ones.
GW is sick.
Yeah, I know. Like we always say, wow, we didn't know we were going to miss that guy so much. Bring him back.
Yeah.
G-dub.
But to me, the most interesting part, and again, I swear, guys, I've never cried about Epstein at all for some reason that hit me. But the connections to the intel agency part is the part that's really fascinating.
Well, that's the part that I found interesting when I was reading about this, was that he basically started as a teacher.
Yep.
And even in his...
Without a college degree.
And even in his time...
Was he not rich then?
Not rich then.
Not rich then. So he was a teacher, and then he got a low-level job on Wall Street. And he was good enough at doing
trading?
Whatever you do. I don't even know if it was trading, but he was a really good
a
schmoozer.
Ponzi scheme almost.
Yeah, and he ended up developing a Ponzi scheme. He worked his way up and then developed a Ponzi scheme type thing.
He's a hustler.
Got in a bunch of trouble financially, and then somehow made that transition from Wall Street to government intel. He started getting hired for government intel positions, and then
clearly a sicko.
Yeah,
all along.
I believe he was recruited very early on by the Israeli intelligence. They got him first. And anything and again, this sounds anti-Semitic, but I swear it's not. But Russia, understanding the history is important. But during communism, the KGB, which was mostly Slavs, kind of had a weird relationship with the Russian mafia, which was a lot of Jews. And when it ended, there were wars on the streets. And basically what emerged is a more powerful KGB with mafia connections. We have a nuclear-armed mafioso state. And the Russians are very good at acquiring compromise on whoever they want. And you can even go why did Epstein go see Putin in 2016? And if we have the files, so do the Russians. So do the Israelis.
Well, all right. So there seemed when we were leading up to this last election, there was this whole push of let's release the Epstein files, and everybody's behind it. We're yeah, let's release the Epstein files.
Even MAGA was more about it because they thought it would get Bill Clinton. That they thought Trump was the white knight who befriended Epstein just so he could uncover the conspiracy. A lot of hardcore MAGAs really believe that Trump is this good guy, white agent, who's going to finally tear down the corrupt Americans and the Democrats and the rhinos. And it's a weird thing, but they really believe it. And QAnon, when that blew up, it drew the whole Epstein thing out. Because imagine if you've been reading up on Epstein, his intel connections, how did he acquire his billions, not millions, billions of dollars? Where was he getting this money from? Was it rich people just paying him? Were they paying him so he wouldn't release a tape of them? He clearly was running a sophisticated hustle.
Yeah.
And felt like he was untouchable because the Israelis, the British, with the Prince Andrew, or like what, like he thought he had snowed every intel agency,
Yeah.
and then he suicided himself.
Insane.
I don't buy it.
No, no way. It's insane. The other insane thing to me is like, there's all these like reports that say like, oh, there were like 15,000 transactions into his foreign bank account,
Yeah.
totaling like $74 million or whatever. And you're like, how is it that, like, you can't gift somebody like more than 14 grand or whatever without having to like pay taxes on it? Is he like paying all the proper taxes on these transactions that they have?
Yeah,
And
God,
how
I
is
don't
it
know.
that like the poor guy working at Walmart for like $20 an hour is like really stressed
The
out
tax
about
at
whether he like
20%, yeah.
whether he like paid all of his taxes or not, and then some dude's just like shoveling in dough left and right. It's coming in from
Yep.
all angles. You don't even know what angle it's coming in from. And then he just maybe at the end of the year like talks to the IRS directly and goes like, "I'll just give you guys $50 and
Yeah,
we're cool." I don't really like get.
No, it's that
These
whole
things are insane.
thing where what the left has wrong about a Trump is the populist right hates the government for the same reasons as the Occupy Wall Street left does. It's just, which is also what happened in Nazi Germany. But it's like if humans hate injustice, whether you vote blue or red, and the narratives built around people to protect them are very well done. Russia is really good at mass info changing. They're really good. I mean, they were paying the podcasters 30 grand an episode to spread anti-Ukraine propaganda.
What up, Russia?
No, pay us. Yeah. we hate
grand an
Ukraine too. No.
30 grand an episode?
Yes.
Okay.
They have had and have had it like back in 1980. If you're a Russian and you're wanting to pull an active measures operation, you have to like get into the country, pass out flyers, show up at union meetings, recruit a Catholic FBI agent, get him compromised. And it took a lot of work. And the internet has enabled it to happen so fast.
Yeah.
Misinfo spreads so fast because our human brains want to believe in salacious conspiracies.
Yeah.
And if you lean right, you're going to believe in that narrative. You lean left, you're going to believe in the other one. And Epstein clearly had rich people from both aisles. So in some ways, if Trump wants it shut down, Hillary wants it shut down, it's going to get shut down. And that's what I think happened.
Yeah, and what are the
horrid.
What do the people want, right? So I feel
The
like
people want the truth.
the people want truth, and I think we're sitting here working our butts off, paying the government, and we want some accountability, I think.
Yep.
And we want to, we people are here wanting to build a trust with the government. That's what we want. And so like,
And when Trump ran, him and his guys were promising to uncover the deep state. We're going to release the Epstein files, the JFK files, the MLK.
Yeah.
So he got his base to really think he truly was a white hat operative.
right. And then now
And then
we're at this spot where it's like sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah.
Like literally the words are like, this is not important. You don't need to worry about this. It's like total gaslighting.
total gaslighting.
It's like total like narcissistic abuse like you would do to a girlfriend or something that you were trying to abuse. You'd be like, oh, don't worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. That's not an issue. And
But like,
under the
imagine
rug.
being a Trump. You're not well educated, but you think you are. You have been lying and cheating your whole life, and you've never been punished. You've been rewarded. Eventually rewarded to the highest reward of the land. There's no incentive for him ever to have been good. It's only been to be a self-seeking politician, ultimately.
yeah, probably with
And he's brilliantly pulled it off. Brilliantly. From when he opened his 30,000 lies, his fake charity, and all that. Like, So his base has excused him for all that. I think they're going to excuse him for Epstein. He's going to get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard some mixed reviews.
I've heard mixed
I've
reviews
heard
too.
from some people that
That's a line they won't cross.
they've lost total faith in him.
Yeah.
And I've heard from some people that he's more loved than ever.
Yeah.
And these are all people who voted for him,
Who we know.
who we know personally. Yeah.
Who are good people.
Seems split.
Who have been brilliantly misinformed, not by Russia, that came in later, but by right-wing media, which is really good at building a story that liberals, the left, the trannies, all these are totally evil and bad.
Yeah. So is Epstein still like in the hotspot? Like, is it on
It's in the news, yes.
See, I've been gone. I was gone for a couple of weeks. I don't really know what's going on.
No, it's one of the
watch the
ones
news.
that won't go away because there are enough important MAGA influencers who, if they brush it under the rug, it'll look obvious.
Right.
So Akash Patel, who is the FBI director, which is just stunning, who's a conspiracy theorist and all that stuff, before the election, he was promising that he would release the Epstein files. AG Pam Bondi, I've got him on my desk, I'm going to release him. Now, you can't have him on desk because it's boxes and boxes. And I firmly believe when Trump lost in 2020 and he stole boxes and boxes of classified info, he was trying to get the Epstein files, the Russia files. Because, you know, Russiagate's a hoax. It's all a hoax. The Democrats set me up. It's all a hoax. But it's right out there in the open.
Yeah.
And Putin, find me the 30,000 emails. You will be mightily rewarded by our press. Trump's first trip to Russia was 86, Moscow, telling him, yeah, we want a Trump hotel here. And like what Russians do very well, because they don't have rules and regs and ethics the way we do. And people were arguing, say, oh, the CIA is totally corrupt. No, it's not. It had a period pre-1975 where it was pretty corrupt and hard right. And then the CIA was reformed, which a lot of it happened under George H. Bush, who was a director at one point. But when someone on the left hears George H. Bush, they automatically conclude he's an Iran-Contra, he's corrupt, he's all these things. Maybe he wasn't as corrupt as people think. And they cleaned it up, but they didn't want to uncover everything because that would be sources, methods, all that. So like when Trump won the election, we quickly lost 11 Russian agents who were like, either get me the fuck out of here, or what happened to him? Got poisoned, went out a window. Like, it's just there.
Yeah.
You cannot deny the facts that when Trump returned in '86, he took out 3 full-page ads talking shit about NATO and promoting Kremlin talking points. 3 full-page ads. I mean, that's just like a fact. That for some reason, Trump goes to Moscow and returns and comes back. NATO sucks. All that, right? That's weird.
It is weird.
That's like, that if that was the only piece.
In 86?
86.
He was interested in politics in 86?
Yes.
Interesting.
Now, Republicans
Fascinating.
will say all the time, the reason why I like Trump is because he's not a politician. He's been pursuing
Since
politics.
86?
Yes.
That's a while.
It's a while of thinking. In 2011, he almost ran. Now, some people say the real reason why he ran, with a nudge from Putin, was in the White House correspondence thing where Obama really insulted him bad. And you could see him just sitting there seething, where this room of rich people, socialites, politicians, journalists are laughing at him. And if you're a malignant narcissist, the worst pain you experience is humiliation.
Well, yeah, that leads me to my question is like, wouldn't it be such a good relationship builder for Trump to the American people to go, look, here are the Epstein files. I'm in there. I was a young man. I fucking screwed up big time.
It seemed like to me.
And I,
But when has
whatever
Trump
it is,
ever humbly said, I'm wrong?
well, I just feel like, yeah, right? But I
Ever.
feel like that would be a great, that would be what you'd want to hear.
Yeah,
What you want to hear is like, hey, I'm a human. I made a mistake.
But Bill Clinton tweeted, release the files.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I don't know.
Or is there something just so egregious in there that it's like,
It is.
that maybe like, I don't know.
Well,
He's doing something
there was
super wild and Putin's
there
involved.
was a girl. I want to say it was 2018. Went to a couple of police departments. I don't remember exactly. She was like 30 at the time, and says Trump raped her when she was 12,
Oh, wow. That's intense.
and then she vanished.
Yeah. So I mean, the whatever's in there must be so egregious that it
So
would be a
egregious,
complete
yep.
destruction of character, right? And
Yes.
And destroy. That's all it's got to be, right? There's no other way. Otherwise, he could just apologize.
And the other aspect is the money. So it's a carrot and a stick. We'll shower you with money, and if you turn on us, we will ruin you. So it's this giant reward,
Yeah.
and if I don't hold my end of the bargain, I'm ruined.
Yeah.
And that's how they got all those guys who are powerful. That's how Epstein made money. And the first one was Lex Wexner. He was like the owner of, what was it, Vogue or one of those things, right? Who probably, like most owners of model companies, like young, pretty girls. And also, they get guys who have a closet, a gay thing. Then they're really compromised because here they are, this proud Catholic, whatever, and they're doing.
This is insane.
It's absolutely insane.
Gates was up in there too, right?
Yeah.
And I read something there that Melinda like
The Israeli
turned on him
PM
and
is
was
in
like,
there.
yeah, he was up in there.
One of the CIA directors was in there. Like, it goes so deep to wealthy and powerful people that if the truth all came out, what would happen?
Well,
Our democracy just would be done.
In some countries, can't you still marry a 14-year-old? I mean,
Yes.
which
is why he had the island.
Yeah,
on the
and
island
so I
it's
feel
legal.
like we're kind of trapped in this like paradigm of like, oh, that's so crazy. I don't think it's
Right.
that crazy.
It's really not
From
that crazy. Yeah.
from my perspective, I think that in humanity, once a woman could reproduce, she could be married off.
But
And
biologically,
women
that's
are-
when the drive
and then,
starts.
Then you have to like, you marry off the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just
That was how
how it
humans
is.
operated
This is
for
how humans operate.
10,000 years.
I'm not saying that I think this is okay.
Right.
I'm just saying that it doesn't surprise me
Yeah.
that men are having a hard time, like, getting it together and realizing that these are children. And then we look at it from our American perspective, or having, daughters or whatever, or sisters or whatever, and thinking, oh, if that happened to my daughter or my
I would
sister.
do something about it.
Yeah,
they-
but it's, I don't know.
They might, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but
And it's not just rich people who are doing these
No.
things. Like, every kind of people, every kind of man is abusing women. Not all men are
Yes.
abusing women, but
But not-
there's a
yes.
percentage of every type of man that is abusing women. Whether they're finding little girls that are left alone in a room at a party, or whatever it is, it's happening all over the world, all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything we can do about it.
Yeah.
It's
sadly
fucked.
doesn't seem like it, does
What
it?
a gnarly scenario to get caught in, right? Like I don't know, just seems so insane. And I feel like I could easily see how like everybody involved, like slowly got roped in. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's it's not like someone sits there and like proposes some sketchy thing to you and
Well,
it's like,
like,
choose it or don't choose it.
Imagine
like
if
slowly kind
you're
of
a
happens.
powerful man
Yeah.
and they're recording a young girl giving you a cocktail. You might not even do the act, but they have a recording of it where it looks like you did.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the interactions. Yeah, like a lot of the stuff that's out there.
Russia is brilliant at that. Creating the stories with some evidence, with grains of truth that draw you in.
Yeah. Like it seems like a lot of the evidence that's floating around just like colloquially or whatever is like these like random shots of like Trump with Epstein like together, like some random picture, and they're not actually doing anything crazy. They're just like
it's just look
talking and it's
who's
like, look,
hanging out with his best friend.
Yeah, and that may or may not have been something.
But
I don't know.
the thing is, you don't see that on right-wing news, except the far right. You kind of do, because they're constructing a conspiracy about Trump's the white hat, and he's the good guy who is investigating Epstein or like whatever it was, right?
Yeah, I've heard him saying like, oh yeah, I knew him, but he was weird, and I didn't
he
talk to
stole
him,
one of my employees.
Yeah,
he took her
employees,
as if like I owned that girl, and he took her from me.
Yeah,
it's creepy.
It is creepy. I think. What are
Jeffrey, he stole one of my employees. He became persona non grata at my club. And that was like 10 years after his, like when it was known that he was doing what he does. And him and Ghislaine would go to Mar-a-Lago. Trump loves the beautiful girls and women. That's why he owned a beauty pageant, right? Or like whatever it was.
Yeah.
And would recruit these girls to be masseuses, cocktail waitress. Like his, a casino once was fined because he had underage girls in there.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, it happens at all levels, right? Like you go to catch a nice acai bowl, you know what I mean? And like the all the girls that work there look super young and they have a certain look about them, you know? And you're like, oh, that seems weird. Like all these people submitted applications for this job, but somehow like only the ones that have the dimensions 36, 24, 36 are the ones that actually work.
We are all old enough.
Like,
only if she's 5'3".
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's insane.
They like Epstein clearly had a taste for young women just coming into puberty.
Yeah,
that was his thing.
Yeah,
and people think child pornography is a huge thing. People getting in trouble for that. All these jiu-jitsu people, hey, what about jiu-jitsu? All these jiu-jitsu people getting in trouble for being pedophiles.
Yep.
I mean, this isn't uncommon. This is very, very common.
Yeah.
How many people have joined our combat-based club because they said my coach was a pedophile and I have to switch organizations?
Usually don't even
don't even know how common that is.
A lot of times I'll be like picked up or so I was under blah 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 and I'll interrupt them. Let me tell you, he was doing this to one of the girls. How'd you know? And I'm like, because that story is so common.
Yeah, it's funny. I've heard you forecast people's jiu-jitsu stories a bunch of times. So like, but we do. So in jiu-jitsu, I feel like kind of what happens is like people get caught up in some sort of sexual related scenario, and it gets broadcast amongst the community, and like I feel like those people get muted pretty hard. Like it doesn't really like, they don't really like.
There's an aspect of a cancel culture that everybody approves of, and that's the cancel the pedos. The Me Too movement, which really started 2015 or whatever it was kind of the first big change where women were saying, believe us, not the perpetrator.
Yeah, because that's a whole thing, is people don't want to believe women.
They don't.
Because there's no respect, or she was asking for it. She was wearing that outfit. Yep. We love that one.
Brutal.
It is brutal.
And I feel like you always see these scenarios where it's like, oh, the girl just accused the guy, and it, you know what I mean, like for money or whatever.
Yes.
And it wasn't a real thing.
That happens, and it only takes one of those to make people go, oh, the women are all lying.
Yeah, totally.
It just takes 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah.
And then they're all, oh, the women just lie about that.
But I feel like in this jiu-jitsu scenario, that's really raw, and you are closely interacting with people, that, you know, I think when someone's accused of and proven of stuff like that, it has a lasting effect on them. And I think that is good that the community holds the person accountable to a huge degree. But so it just makes me kind of think, like, with this whole Epstein thing, like, it's really up to the people to insist that, like, we got to know what's going on here. And
we have to demand the truth.
Transparency is super important, right?
And but Jelaine got transferred from her 20-year at a max into a really cushy thing now, raising dogs or whatever. And I'm sure they promised her a pardon. Keep your mouth shut or only throw the left under the bus. And will mightily reward you.
Yeah.
Well, what Trump has said.
My thought is that, like in jiu-jitsu, if so many people have been uncovered that they've been participating in this kind of behavior, how many people are getting away with it?
Yeah.
How many people are still out there getting away with it?
Like the priests.
Like the priests. Jiu-jitsu coaches and priests.
Well, I was going to say there was a recent one where a young man was part of a jiu-jitsu team that's in the limelight.
Wrestlers and doctors, like that whole scandal that Jim Jordan was involved in. He's still a congressman.
Oh, well, no.
He's
no,
talking about
I'm just
jiu-jitsu
talking
right
about
now.
a jiu-jitsu analogy for the way the world might work, but the world seems to not work the way that it should ever. But there was a young man recently in jiu-jitsu who apparently was, you know, getting frisky with some of the teammates on a team in a way that was making people uncomfortable. And it got brought out, right? And he made like a large public apology and like assured people like, hey, like, I'm really sorry. I got carried away. I'm going into this program that's going to like help me deal with this issue. And it seems like
his minor rape issue.
I'm not too sure. I don't know if he was being accused of rape necessarily.
Or if he was just being too flirtatious.
I don't know.
Rubbing his body on people.
I didn't read into it too close, but my like 1,000-yard view was that here's somebody who got out of control a little bit, and admits to having an issue, lets everybody know, like, look, I have this issue, I'm dealing with it. Can we just get back to the jiu-jitsu, you know? And then it seems like he's moving on with his life and having a good time, a nice time. And that would be what you'd want to hear about the whole thing. That's why it's kind of
liberal in
or don't let him near the ladies. How about that? Keep him away from the ladies.
Women's only class.
Avoid my daughter. You know, like that's not going to happen, dude. Sorry, but
So what are we to think? What do we make of all this? It seems unreal, totally insane, and.
As a woman who suffers from anxiety, I just can't help but think like that we're just not safe. We're not safe. Like, I mean, I'm not a hugely trusting person. Yeah. So like, especially for women, I just think that trust has to be earned, not given. You can't just expect that somebody's not going to try to rape you. Yeah. You just can't, you can't. You can't go out there into the world thinking that. Now that's a personal view. I don't know how, I don't even know how to deal with it for myself and women that I know, let alone politicians and grand scale sex trafficking. That's like the whole sex
millionaires and billionaires
trade, which people donate money to. There's organizations that work on that kind of stuff, right? I know that's
money
a big thing.
Is an aphrodisiac. That's what all the psychology experts like it. Having a lot of money really changes people, which is why I'm one of those people who thinks we should tax the fuck out of the rich, but most people don't. And once they have money, what they have is power. That's what's the aphrodisiac. It's having power. Mm-hmm.
But power could even be just like we're saying, the jiu-jitsu coach, maybe he doesn't even have a lot of money. He just has power because he's the coach and he's the black belt and he's the one who you're going to get your next belt from. Yeah. And so you got to do what he says.
Well, that's why in power structures, transparency is super important. I think so. You need to trust the people that you are letting be powerful, right? So, and they need to show transparency in order to earn that trust. And so these types of scenarios where it feels like the government is muting the transparency, they're
Yes.
trying to say like, let's not be transparent, don't worry about this, and they're
Right.
clearly gaslighting.
Clearly.
That is super duper concerning, and it's the frustrating part is it's such a good opportunity to earn trust, I think.
Yeah.
Like the guy that I was just describing, he didn't go like, oh, I didn't do that. Like, I can think of other jiu-jitsu scenarios where like a professor got caught perving out on some students pretty hard, and maybe like systematically
denies it.
abusing students and denied it and make public statements like, I can't believe that student would ever do that. Like, you don't want to do that. What you want to do is go like, if say the student was lying, right, for attention, you would want to like make a statement like, I know this is really concerning for a lot of people.
And
you would want to like
but-
kind of like kindly like say like, hey,
But,
this
like,
is, and say what it was and be transparent about it. Not like
I think
try
that,
to make it
that
more-
people who engage in that kind of stuff, gay or straight, whatever it is, they have a shame about it because part of them knows it's wrong.
yeah, it is wrong.
And then if you're such a self-absorbed narcissist, you'll create a story in your head of why for you it's not wrong.
Yeah.
So admitting it is like almost not even possible.
It's like a drug addiction.
It's like a drug
I
addiction,
know
yeah.
drug addicts that are on drugs, and you're trying to say like you're on drugs, and they're like, no, I ain't on drugs.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I mean, it seems like, again, back to what I said at the very beginning, like fundamentally, there's like a human worth issue where like in some people's minds, some humans are like fundamentally worth less than other
Yes.
humans.
And usually it's males that are worth more, and women are just.
And not all rich guys, but rich, they've like done like psychology experiments and all that like people who get really wealthy detach from the lower class.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them find a Jesus and then believe in the dominionist thing, like it's God's will that I'm rich and he's poor.
Yeah.
And you rationalize
Well,
it.
they're out of touch because they go shopping and they buy, a $500 pair of shoes and a $2,000 suit, and they don't even understand what it's like for
like
somebody
pocket
just to
change,
try
yeah.
to buy groceries. How could they?
How could they? Yep.
Yeah.
They're so detached. And
Not all of
yeah,
them.
not all of them.
But some of them that I've met.
And there are some really good, wealthy people who do give a lot of money to good causes. And those were also the guys who Epstein would go after, because then he would have power over a guy who's really trying to change the world, stop malaria in Africa, feed all this. Oh my God, Epstein recorded me that night. I was drunk. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. All that stuff can be creepy. And sometimes some of that like humanism stuff where people go and like support these causes, it almost feels like a virtue signaling type of
Yes,
thing where
yes.
it's like, oh, I went and did all this. Like, look how great I am.
Mm-hmm.
Buy my thing or whatever. Don't think that I did this sketchy thing because
Right.
I did this good thing. And it's like,
Cancels out.
I don't know. It's really hard to read into what someone's thinking and sort of understand where someone's at as far as like how they value people,
And like I've heard economists like say the math, I don't know what it is, but it's something like if these really rich guys gave up 10% of their money, it would fund public schools for 5 years. It would do these incredibly good things.
Yeah.
But
I
they
just
don't
had
do it.
another thought, and I know that like for the people in this room, we really value our children very highly, but not everybody values children like that.
That's true. Weird.
Children are like, for a long time, you had as many children so they could work on the farm, more hands to like do stuff, right?
Or it's an ego thing.
Or
like,
whatever it is, or the children, they're just there, but we don't want to have to deal with them.
Yeah.
And so like, again, we're not only female, but female children.
Yeah.
It's just like the bottom of the
the
barrel.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I can't think of it as anything other than like a human worth thing where it's how we look at other people, and are they worthy or not? And I think some of these people in high power positions, they're not looking at you as a person. You're just a thing to be used.
And a lot of them really don't believe in human rights or democracy.
Right.
And they even like follow bloggers like Curtis Yarvin, who actively says democracy's slow, dumb, and bad. and helps poor people.
And I would
Yeah, I guess
argue
that's-
that maybe a lot of the world actually has this mentality because the percentage of poor people who can't even like have enough to eat or shelter or whatever in the world, in
huge,
all the
yep.
impoverished countries,
Yep.
is huge. And like to the point where like in Brazil, they just line them up
Oh,
and just
God, yeah.
massacre them all.
Yep.
Children,
It's brutal.
homeless
Yep.
children.
Yeah.
You know, like this is the world that we live in.
It's the world
and
we live
that's
in, yeah.
very dark and
Yeah.
very upsetting and horrible and awful, but it's reality.
Well, and isn't that
Oof,
what
yeah, God.
why we came and did America, right? Is
Yeah,
because
America.
in a feudal system, like you were either born into a caste,
Born
where
into
you had it,
monarchy or not. Yeah.
and then everything below your caste wasn't even human. It was just like you're just
chattel.
yeah. And then we're like, fuck that. We believe that you can start low on the low down and in society and move your way up, and we value everybody and respect everybody. Like I feel like the
it was an
American-
That's an
Absolute-
ideal, right?
Yeah.
It's an ideal, but it's absolutely not the truth.
American
right?
ideal
But the American ideal was truly revolutionary. The height of Enlightenment European culture.
All men, remember, all men were created equal.
Yeah, shoot. Sorry.
And slaves aren't men because they're basically animals.
Right.
And women aren't men.
yeah.
All men are created equal.
Was it 19 or 20? Women couldn't vote until 1920 or something?
Black men got the vote before women.
Yeah.
Former slaves that were looked at as animals at one time.
Yeah.
And there is a current far-right religious movement that thinks it ought to be one vote per household. The husband has the vote, and he has to teach the women and children
Yeah, it
the
was
right
just-
way.
Maybe it was I saw something on the internet recently, and it was like this guy preaching about how like the man needs to be this thing, and then women should support the man. And I was just thinking like, you've never been to my house. It's like, dude, I like my
And that guy, he is the a pastor for the current Secretary of Defense.
I see.
That's his pastor,
Yeah.
who is the one who's fired all women officers, high
yeah.
ranks, black
That's all
officers.
good news.
Like he is a white nationalist.
Yeah. I just like think about like it just seems like such a simplistic view of how the world should work, right?
Right and wrong seems so obvious.
Right. And like think about how much more complicated everything really is. And like my scenario is like a great example. Like there are things about my wife. Well, I don't know if I should say this, but she is a really, really good women's physician, right?
Yeah.
Top
and,
notch.
And whether she's a woman or not, I don't know if that matters, but like,
I prefer having a woman's physician as a woman.
okay, yeah. There's things about
I don't really understand male gynecologists. I really don't.
I kind of don't either.
But
to tell you the truth.
there is a case for that. So
Baby.
basically, OBGYN is like one of the most dynamic fields of medicine because you get to partake in a bunch of different stuff. You get to do
emergency stuff. You get
emergency, you get to do surgery, you get to do like clinical care of patients, you get to know the patients a little bit, which is great. So if you're somebody that's interested in medicine and you're kind of not sure like what you want to do,
you could be a primary care physician though too.
but then you don't really get to do surgery.
Oh,
you don't get
okay.
to do all these
It's not
things,
as
right?
fun.
It's not like as all encompassing
Not
as
as
far
in
as like
depth.
the actual
practice.
dynamics
Job,
of the
okay.
work. But OB is all that. It's everything. So you get to do everything. So I think for a lot of men who enter medicine and they're like, I like to know my patients. I like to feel like I'm really helping them and caring for them. I also like to do surgery. I like to do all these different things. It's like the perfect fit for that. And that I think that's the best, most understandable, relatable case for the male OBGYN. And I've known a lot of male OBGYNs through this whole process that we've been through. And all of them are stand-up people. No one's been a pervert or weird or anything like that. And so that's the case. But my wife is the one that gets the support from me in our household. You know, it's the opposite of what this pastor guy was saying. And she can't do the job that she's doing without someone like me there supporting her.
Because you guys have kids. Or because
or
of
maybe
everything.
not. I mean,
Really?
she really puts a lot into. I mean, it's a lot. It's a huge.
It's a demanding job.
And I've been supporting her the whole way through. And I'm doing what the woman is doing in this vision that this pastor is spelling out.
Yeah.
So that my female wife can go do the job and like.
Tobin, you pussy.
But like, you know, what I'm saying is that like, sure, that vision is okay, but it doesn't have to have a gender role thing attached to it. Like it really would be hard to be a physician at the level that my wife is if your spouse is not there supporting you to do it.
Yeah.
And she's a woman, I'm a man. And so like, it's an insane thing. And here's somebody who with like all the conviction in the world is like saying that this is the one and only way. And I'm sitting here going like, well, based on my experience, like, you know, we're out here doing our best to support the people of this community on a large scale. And we've put my wife in the position to help as much as we possibly can. And it's not fitting your model because of the male-female thing, you know? So like, it seems insane. So this is somebody who's preaching this philosophy of thinking of one person as less than the other based on their gender only.
That's what it says in the Bible.
Putting you in a position of not allowing that movement, that American ideal of you can move into whatever position you want, and we're going to value you as an individual. You know?
And I think that's, you know, like not totally uncommon your dynamic is one that's becoming more and more common, right? And also like there's the dynamic where both spouses have a really demanding job.
Yeah.
And they have a nanny that raises their kid. That's another model.
Yeah.
And then there's like Chris and I, who I think that we both have an equal, like in our business, which is combat base and Chris Haueter art and all the stuff we do, I don't feel like my job is any less than his job.
Right.
Like he's the face of the business, but I'm everything else. He does other things. He does art. He designs
scheduling,
shirts.
Logistics, operations.
It's not
finance,
not even that. Yeah, it's everything having to do with all like memberships and direction and merchandising and shipping and advertising, marketing, customer relations, setting every appointment and every contact that we have, collecting every payment. Like all that is me. So it's like, how could my job be any less than his job?
Yeah.
I see them
You
as
could
being
almost
100%.
argue as being more in some
Yeah,
way.
like that's why I started calling myself the CEO, because I really am doing a lot for this whole business, and I'm just not the one who gets recognized, right? Because Chris is the face, Chris is the name. He's the one that people have been following for 20 or more years, right? And so, and like I'm totally okay with that, because as long as at the end of the day, the work is getting done, the people are getting helped, the bills are getting paid, and then we both have to come together to decide like about household responsibility, children, pets,
and
extended family, etc., and how we accomplish all those goals, which is a lot. Our life is very overwhelming, and I like to think of it as rich, full, and abundant, but it's also chaotic and very stressful.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of that for everybody. And I think all these scenarios are okay, but they're all like that understanding of all these different family situations to be okay is rooted in the understanding that everybody is worthy and everybody is of equal value, no matter what little thing they're doing or not doing. And then as soon as you start to place these like value judgments on human beings, instead of just going like, everybody's a soul, everyone's a person.
Yeah.
Once you start putting these value judgments, like, oh, the man's got to be the man, the woman's got to be the woman, there's like a value judgment being inserted there.
Well,
and
a lot
then,
of people think that's what's wrong with culture.
Yes.
Is that we
that's
strayed
what I'm
from
saying.
that.
But we strayed from that, but then like we got this freaking Epstein situation where all of a sudden we're saying like, oh, none of that mattered. That was cool. Here's like a egregious example of somebody who's violating that thinking.
Yeah.
And then we're just kind of going to go like, oh, yeah, it may or may not have happened, whatever. And it's like, no, I kind of feel like people need to go, hey, like, let's check this out a little further and make sure that we're not, as a whole group of people on the planet, going back to times when we had a feudal system. You know, like this guy, Curtis Marvin, is that his
Curtis
name?
Yarvin, yeah.
Curtis Yarvin, who
That's what he
he's
advocates
like
as.
tech feudalism, where he wants like you to be in a feudal system. Fuck
He
that. I feel
ideally
like it's so
wants
insane.
Canada to the Panama Canal to be under North American feudalism. Let Russia have Europe and China have Asia. It's a very simplistic view of the world.
Yeah.
Well, I've
believe
heard
it.
all kinds of things where like certain people in positions of power would like to see the world essentially like Hunger Games, where there's like one rich, nice area and everybody else is just fighting for resources.
Well, that was what, remember I was saying, there's just an interview with Jeff Bezos where like, that's his ideal, is that like we go to Mars and we create a space station.
Him and Elon are going to go together.
Everybody works from a space station in Mars remotely.
Yeah.
And then the Earth is maintained as this beautiful vacation destination, right? So, but who's going on vacation? Think it's you? Think it's you? You guys aren't going on vacation. I'm not going on vacation. It's some other fucking guy going on vacation. And like, no
these super smart guys, if you speak to actual like scientists, astrophysics and all that, they don't think they're smart at all. Like we are decades, if not hundreds of years away from
colonizing
Mars into a planet.
Yeah.
Why don't we just clean up our planet?
Yeah. Yeah.
The one that we've evolved to be adapted to.
Yeah. But what are we supposed to do about all this stuff? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Cool
I
conclusion
think
for the
that
show.
like the only thing that I think we can do really is like we can talk about it.
Yeah.
We can we can be aware. Like one of the things that I tell Chris all the time is how do we make the biggest difference is by having ethics and morals and passing them on to our children and influencing, just being good people and influencing other people. We're not abusers and we're supporting other people through the jiu-jitsu community who find themselves without a coach because they are an abuser, and
And it's a spectrum. Like there's obviously really bad examples, and there's ones where it's just part of the culture. The black belt is higher than you. Respect the rank. Like there's.
And we like to point out, I think, too, we were talking about this yesterday on another podcast, that regardless of people's political affiliation, that this transcends that. This isn't about politics.
100%,
This is about abusing children, women and children.
Yep.
And making like that is like when somebody joins the combat base club and I'm checking up on their references and doing all this stuff, we are looking for those types of things.
Yeah.
Are you a sexual abuser or even just a dishonest person?
Yeah.
We don't want those. We don't want to associate with those people unless they've been rehabilitated.
Yeah, I think that political differences, ideological differences should be celebrated, right?
But like, can you rehabilitate a pedophile?
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, some people who are former criminals have been rehabilitated, including ourselves.
Yep. I was...
I'm not saying that we're these hardcore criminals, but we have both of us have had issues.
We've engaged in bad behavior.
Yeah.
Not sexual bad, but...
Well...
No, I feel like it's I think differences, ideological differences, political differences, that is good. You want to have a push and pull about things that are important.
You want that balance.
You really do. And it requires both sides to tug in order to be able to find the best thing.
You have to have it inside yourself and within the group. When you go into one thing, whatever it is, you start to lose reality.
And that's kind of the problem with where our country has gotten to, where it's just like nobody can work together,
Nuance
right? It's
is
like, we
dead.
think this, you think
Yep.
that. There's no like
nuance.
coming together.
There's no
and
nuance.
I think that we like to hold a space where people can come together. And it's not all about, it's about what we have in common, not about what we think differently. And what we have in common is that we're not pedophiles.
And
we're
we
not
like jiu-jitsu.
rapists. We like jiu-jitsu. We like independence. We like freedom of expression. We don't want to be controlled. Like that's where we want to keep our focus and our emphasis so that we can do our art and express it and feel supported regardless of, who we vote for.
Yeah, and outside of all that, I just feel like it ends up being a human issue. And why does an example like Epstein stand out in history and within society is that, like, this is not left versus right. This is like a human issue.
Yeah.
Like, we as humans, how do we want to be respected? And how do we want to be seen by other humans? And not as an animal to be abused and used.
And how do we hold those accountable? Which is the whole origins of law is justice. And that's like, we have a human craving for justice.
And my personal belief is that, humans are animals. I think scientifically we are animals, and that we shouldn't abuse dogs. We shouldn't abuse cattle. We shouldn't abuse anything, which that's a whole nother story.
It's a whole other
bring
podcast
Dave Meyer
right
back
there,
to talk about the
Yeah.
abuse of animals in our farming industry. But I just don't believe in abusing. I mean, I kill ants.
I tell the
kill
kids,
spiders.
I tell the kids, like, my kids, I'm like, you can only kill the insects that are inside the house. Like, once they come in the house, you can kill them. But if they're outside of the house, you got to be nice.
That's where they live. Yeah. Though I do light the brown widows and black widows on fire. Because I don't want anyone to get poisoned.
One thing I just have to add, because I put it in there, is I am so not anti-Jew. I am not.
Oh my God.
If anything, and like, people don't realize that, like last week and before October, like the amount of Israelis that are protesting the current government.
Well, and that's a huge, when you kept saying that, I just keep thinking there's a difference between being Jewish and part of the Israeli government.
The Zionists.
There's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Because Jews are all over the place.
Yes. Yeah. And have
Israel
the same thing, have a wide spectrum of political opinions, a wide spectrum of religious commitment, just like everybody does.
Yeah. And I think the message that I would want to say to people is, like, if you want to be able to think what you think, you need to treat other people that same way and allow them to think what they think. So, like, are you capable of accepting somebody else for having a difference of opinion and not, like, losing your mind and getting like level 10 angry and insulting and upset when somebody thinks something different than you? And that's really the thing, is like, people need to maintain that type of attitude.
Media is so good at tickling your amygdala.
Totally.
For anger, disgust, all those things.
Turning you into a psycho. Turning you into a complete psychopath. And then you're on your phone getting fed that stuff all day long. I mean, that's what sucks about today, really, to be honest.
And our kids are on unregulated screens.
Yeah, it's unreal.
But at least they go to school.
Yeah.
Where they don't have access to their screens.
Yeah. Our schools are good.
Some of us are just home all day with our screens.
Oh boy. I am a screen addict.
Just saying.
I'm a screen addict. It's like, I cannot deny that I am not what many of my other screen addicts have called, we are information junkies.
I'm staring at a screen right now on this podcast.
I need more information.
We're providing content for all the screen addicts.
Yep.
Well, that was
more
pretty
content.
That was pretty dark, guys.
Yep.
That sucks. Do we have anything cool to talk about
It
before
was
we close
dark.
this up?
When is this coming out?
On Friday.
This Friday?
This Friday, yeah.
Guys,
Okay,
I really
well.
do apologize that I exposed emotional weakness.
What?
No,
Chris is the type of person who cries at commercials.
I do.
And since he's older, maybe it's
worse.
more.
It happens easier.
And life is, we're having a challenging life right now a little bit.
Yeah.
We're a little bit challenged in the sandwich of mom who's
Yep.
like kind of slipping away, and kids who are testing us
growing and
through
changing
their
and testing us. Yep.
adolescence.
Parenting's so brutal.
Yeah, and a puppy who wants to bark
But
at
it's so
3:30
great.
in the morning.
I literally like, I'll be like driving down the
We
street.
got no sleep last night. It's brutal.
I'll be like driving down the street, like 1 second, I'm like, God, parenting's the most brutal thing ever. And then like 30 minutes later, I'm like, this has been the most fulfilling experience of my whole entire life. Like, you know
Well,
what I mean?
that's kind
It's
of
like-
what Chris was saying. He's grateful that he, because he had a first kid at 41
Yeah.
and the second kid at almost 50.
I had a
You
late
know,
start.
and like,
It's a late start.
or no, wait, how old were you? You were 45 and 50.
Wow.
45 and 50. We got married when he was 41. So he didn't like necessarily even know. I mean, not that men can't procreate forever, because they can. Lots of rich guys like to do
Yep.
that. Anyways, but we were talking about what's happening, and it's
what's going on?
Friday, and Chris is in North Carolina,
Yep.
having some fun in North Carolina
Sick.
with all our friends over there. A big tour that
Big
he's
tour in North
doing.
Carolina. A bunch of people who are awesome jiu-jitsu guys and great character.
We
Yeah.
have
Men of great character.
We have
Nice.
three. We have a combat base, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Chris Wilburn over there, a great guy. We love him very
Dude,
much.
Wilburn's out
Shouting
there
him out.
Fighting, right?
Yeah.
He's out there competing.
He's
all
a
the time.
competitor.
He seems like a full samurai, that guy.
Yeah,
is, yep.
he's awesome.
Pure
and
warrior.
Chris is visiting him, and then over at Heritage with Jeremy and Jamie, who
But Jeremy's a gigantic super heavyweight.
a gigantic super heavyweight in a no-gi only school that they have
wow.
over there, servicing the community of Wake Forest.
Uh-huh.
And then New de Fillon,
No,
which is
De Fillon.
Alex Perez and
Alex
crew. They
Perez,
have so many black belts over there,
A
right?
lot of black
like
belts.
10 or more black belts.
A lot of operators, ex-operators, real tight group.
Nice.
Yeah, and Chris is going to get some time over there at the base as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
On Bragg.
Fort Bragg, giving
cool.
Briefly
service,
called Fort Liberty, now back to being called Fort Bragg.
Okay.
giving service to our military operative
Mm-hmm.
people. And then what else is going on? On the 13th of September, he's going to be at Foundations Jiu-Jitsu, brought to you by Damage Inc. Fight Club.
Nice.
Damage Inc. Nathan over at Damage Inc. and the Foundations crew are having this seminar in Madison, Wisconsin on September 13th.
Around
September
school,
20th,
yep.
Chris goes back to Reno with Darian at Momentum.
I
Sick.
love Reno.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And then in the 27th, we have a combat base Ozark. Who
Nice.
knew? Ozark, Arkansas.
Oh,
That'll
that's
be a
awesome.
good one. Yep.
Yeah, going over to combat base Arkansas. So that's kind of what's coming up. And
He has a great arc, like, a Green Beret, 3 tours, team leader, returns in his own hometown. There's a
Johnny
corrupt-
Crocker.
Yeah.
Trying to think of his name. His name's Johnny
Crocker's
Crocker.
so rad. I've trained
Yeah,
with
you
him.
trained with him
Yeah.
here.
Johnny's the man.
Like, he ran for sheriff in one and has cleaned up their police department. Like,
yeah.
one of those could be a movie.
I loved meeting that guy. I was like, this guy's fucking awesome.
He's an awesome dude. Yeah.
It sounds like Arkansas, where he lives, is pretty cool. He has like a ranch, and
Yeah.
maybe one day I'll get to go see it
Yeah.
because I kind of like that kind of thing.
It's crazy to catch a vibe off. This is such a California perspective, but to catch the vibe off of somebody like what you just described, like all the things that you would presume about this dude's energy based on what you just described is all true, and so humble at the same time.
Yep.
But like, yeah, dude, that guy was so cool. Yeah, it was,
he's
it was an
Yeah.
experience just meeting him. I felt like super like honored to meet him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he seems
Crazy.
pretty awesome, even just like conversations on the phone and stuff. Like a lot of times my relationships with most of the Combat Base Club people are on the phone and online, and then Chris does the FaceTime, but very respectful. And I always appreciate, somebody with this background that's very respectful.
And
to-
we
to
love
me,
all our combat base black belts are all
Yeah.
awesome.
Almost all of
yeah.
them.
Almost, yeah.
except for the assholes. Just kidding.
All right. Well.
All right, settle down now.
All right.
If you've ever yelled at me, you're on the shit list. Just saying. I don't
They
like
can
getting
come back.
yelled at. It kind of sucks.
Can they
Yeah.
come back off the shit list though? They can come back.
It's freaking hard. Once you yell at me, once you cross me like that, for me to be like, oh yeah, come back over to my house. Let's hang out.
Yeah.
Let's be friends. Like, it's just like, to me, that's like the violation of that trust
That's
that
a
I'm
line,
telling
yeah.
you, that men have to earn the trust, women too, but especially men, because to understand, like, there's a vulnerability in the relationship, and especially you get these highly trained men that are much bigger than me, and I'm in a vulnerable position.
It's unacceptable
It's
to
unacceptable.
treat anybody like that anytime. Even,
So the aggression is not appreciated.
Yeah. No thanks. All right. Let's wrap this fucking thing up. That was a crazy podcast.
Let's wrap it up. What a crazy podcast.
Yeah. All right. Ready?
Yep.
Count,
Like and subscribe. He looks
Most people are gonna think of that.
Well, we all have targets on our backs these days.